25% gonna get late tonight.
How I get my wife to stop being mad at me?
Okay.
You know what's really cool about marriage is that I can look like this and I'm 125% gonna get late tonight.
How I get my wife to stop being mad at me?
Okay. You know Chick-fil-A. And Target.
Excuse me?
We can go to Starbucks too. Yeah. Yeah. We can get you that milkshake you like. And I'll buy you something at Target.
My husband says he's upset with me because, in his words, sweetie, you need to stop spending so much money on DoorDash. Ordering it 3 times a day is not appropriate, and we need to start living within our means. Honey, it sounds like you have an income problem, not that I have a spending problem. Start earning more money and we won't have these issues. So I took his credit card that we share, and I booked a vacation for my daughter Richard and I. We're staying in a hotel tonight, and I hope he enjoys that I charged $8,000 to his credit card. Make more money, darling.
I personally have never heard a married man tell me that married life is cool. Being a husband is awesome, man. It's a lot of fun. Every time I ask him, so how is it being married, man? He usually tells me something like, man, don't do it, dude. And they kind of joke and laugh, and I just laugh with him a little bit. And I'm like, and it's not a laugh of like it's funny or anything like that. It's a laugh of regret. Or I say, hey, man, you want to go hang out? You want to go get a drink? You want to go do this? And the husband just says, man, I got to get back to the missus, man. You know how that is, right? And I'm looking.
All right, so, oh, man. I haven't made a video in a while. Since YouTube took down my main channel, I think this would be safe to put on the second channel, Triple Cross 2. I didn't intend to make a video tonight or anytime soon, but I saw this, and since I'm going through things in my life here, relationships, different types of relationships, I thought I might share my comments with about this video. Okay, so the last thing this person he said here, this guy on the screen said that he can't have a drink with his buddies. He has to get back to the missus. Dude, you're whipped. See, I don't know. Let's just watch a little more. Okay, before we watch any more, let me make my overall point here. Marriage isn't about happiness. If you have to look outside yourself for happiness, you have an issue. I didn't get married to be happy. I chose to get married because it was going to allow me to get to the next level spiritually. Life isn't all fun and games all the time. To get to a certain level of ascension, you have to work on your problems. So sometimes you miss, if you make the right decision, the girl, the guy will get to the next level. It may be painful. But the girl is not your goal. The guy is not your goal. Unless he is straight from the top of source consciousness, then that's a different story altogether. But most people in the universe are going to have problems. And you've been programmed even as a source player. Source players, if you haven't heard me talk about source players before. Source players are volunteers straight from what people call God, which is outside of the universe. Volunteers to help increase, rise, augment the frequencies throughout the universe to diminish pain, which most people are ignoring, even some source players who are caught up in the game. Your overall goal is to ascend. I'm working on book 5, and I don't know how I'm going to put it on the computer online, but in some shape or form, it's going to get online. I have to put back. I have to, since my main channel was deleted, I have to put the the recordings for book 1 through 4 back on. Not any rush since it was already put out there. But if you look at relationships in terms of growth, how they can help you get to the next level, then you are successful. A lot of people look at it in terms of like happiness. Dude, you have so many freaking problems that you haven't solved. What is this happiness thing that people keep talking about? Happiness comes when you cleanse yourself. What is this whole sex thing that people are obsessed with? If you have to have sex, like, even once a week, you better cleanse your system. Okay, because the control is in the... Let's listen.
You're gonna be like, yeah, I know, but personally, I don't know because I'm not a married man. See,
I am, and I will, and I don't have a problem. I don't have to check with the missus to have a drink with a friend.
when a woman gets the ring, guys, see, that's her ultimate goal. When she gets married, when she secures you, that's why they push for it so hard. Listen, she doesn't have to submit to you. She doesn't have to.
I never liked the word submit. I want a lady who can think, who is not fighting me. Because there might come a time where I'm comatose in bed, which happened not too long ago. I was making these videos. I don't want to do my thinking. I don't want to do the thinking for her. As I said, submission and obey are the same. How about cooperation? And I've also talked about that.
Cook, she doesn't have to clean. She can
Wait, she doesn't have to cook. She doesn't have to clean. She doesn't have to do what?
gain as much weight as she wants.
She can gain as much weight as she wants? Dude, that's because you're not honest with her. You're not honest with him. If he's gaining a ton of weight and she's gaining a ton of weight, you better fucking put her on a diet. Put him on a diet. What the hell is this? Okay, this is where tough love comes in. One of the worst, I don't even know. I just save it book 5. Book 5. Honesty is the name of the game. If they can't handle it, they can walk. There's the front door. Pick the right person. Dude, that's why more and more men are getting married outside of America. She doesn't have to do what? He doesn't have to do what? Are you kidding me? Please.
Matter of fact, that's crazy sex that you were getting before you got married, before you proposed, she's gonna ration that out.
Please. I'll get more sleep. Rash. What is this obsession with sex? Dude, I'm not touching you if you're giving out negative energy. ration out sex. I'll go to bed and get more sleep. The reason why people need so much sex is because they have work to do, internal work to do. Internal work to do. If you can't fast 17 hours, 12 hours, it doesn't have to be like 7-day fast. Or eat better and reach your goals over time. After 17 hours of no sugar, parasites begin to die in your body. Do that day in and day out and see what happens. So what? You become a little skinny because you give up sugar. You're going to gain the weight back. You will gain the weight back the more you take out, the more of the dark light you take out. Everybody has dark light inside. Let's not kid ourselves here. I haven't met a single person on this planet who does not have issues. Depression, dark light is inside. I don't care how I manifest. Dude, I don't have a sex, me personally, I don't have to deal with that. The whole sex rash. Book 5. Book 5. Okay? The reason why these things are happening in your relationships is because you made the wrong decisions. You chose the wrong person. You're thinking about sex instead of your overall goal, which is getting a fudge out of this dimension, getting a fudge out of the universe. Do what you need to do, putting the general in charge, the soldier, the warrior in charge. That's why you have these problems. People.
Now you have a honey-do list. Now you have to do all these different things in order to get sex because the government is involved, right?
The government is involved in what? Your relationship? You allow the government to be, because what? Because if you get divorced, why are you getting divorced in the first place? Well, she could always leave. Or he could leave. Yeah, I guess I understand. What? 50%? 50%? She takes half? Why didn't you get a prenup? Well, you're a dumbass if you didn't get that.
See, you don't own your woman. For all you husbands out there who think, yeah, this is my woman, man. No, the government.
You don't own anybody. If she loves you, it'll be more precious than her submission. Her love is stronger than submission, or whatever nonsense words people use are using for love here.
The government owns her. Because the reason why she wanted to get married is to secure resources.
Okay, so she secure resources. It's logical. I got married to have kids.
Just in case. So now she gives you the sex that she's given other men before she met you for free. Now you have to pay for it. Now you have to run errands. Now you have to take out the garbage. And
Dude, these men are like simps. That's how it is. Dude, they have issues. Dude, leave the country. Go get married in like Africa or something. And where you don't even have to worry about like these situations. The prenup is written inside the contract for the most part, at least in Togo, TOGO. This is the contract we're signing. Is it open marriage? Closed marriage? division of assets or assets together, you better take precautions, because these things do happen. I don't care how bright the soul is. You will be tested by your guy. You'll be tested by your girl. Book 5. And at the end of the day, it will bring out the best in you, because you need to grow. You need to wake the fudge up. You need to wake the fudge up. Relationships, whether it's marriage or it's a relationship with your mother or your father, it's all the same. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. People make things complicated. Relationships are not complicated. Did you not grow up with a parent? Did you not have a relationship with them? The same thing. With marriage, it's just the introduction of sex. Cast the sex aside, it's the same thing. I will be talking about past lives. My past lives in relation to my mother and other female. The book is going to be heavily on relationships, book 5. And I have to do what I got to do. I got to put a few people in check. But if you're in a relationship, you can't even go have a drink with your bros. You have to check with the missus every time. Dude, you got issues. You come home, they're picking fights. Are you freaking kidding me? Put that shit in check real fast.
Better not be bad, because you're going to sleep on that couch.
Sleeping on what? A couch. Dude, these people are such simps. Take your ass to the couch.
Married life for a lot of men, and this is coming from a guy who has counseled men everywhere: white, Indian, black, Asian, Hispanic, all.
And this is coming from a guy who is married right now. The reason why you're having these problems is because you're afraid to lose your partner. You're afraid to lose your husband. You're afraid to lose your wife. Cut that shit out. If you're afraid to lose her, you've already lost her. If you're afraid to lose him, you've already lost him. Let them walk out the door. Let the relief, the weight of the problems be lifted. Be source conscious aware. Raise the bar. It is not your responsibility to make people happy in a relationship. Be honest, even if it hurts. This is part of the reason why people don't listen to my recordings, my videos, because it's too damn honest.
Different nationalities and races, and these men have told me, and it's a common denominator: my wife isn't really giving me sex. So I want you to think about something. Imagine you wake.
If my wife refused to give me sex, I would be happy. I'm talking about me. Half the time, I don't want it because I'm too freaking tired. What is this need for sex all the time? I don't. Once upon a time, I could have understood. I could understand, but now I'm like, cleanse your freaking system.
Waking up, you're going out to work, You go into a job that you necessarily don't really enjoy, but hey, it's paying the bills because it's keeping a roof over your woman's head, your wife's head, and you get off work. You work your 40 to 60-hour work weeks, and every time you get off, your wife is looking at you in disgust. She's looking at you and she has an attitude towards you, right? You come into the door and she's just sitting on the couch, ready to nag. You got her legs crossed, looking like this.
I have had that. I have had that. The best advice came from my mother. My mother. And then she was a terrorist, my mother. She gave me advice before about putting my wife in check. To make a long story short, book 5, I had to put my mother in check before I put my wife in check.
This. And you got to come in and manage her emotions. Say, honey, what's
And it's not your job to manage anyone's emotions. And it's not your job to make anybody happy. Sweetheart, what's wrong? Dude. If you have to go that far, you have issues. People need to go through their emotions so they can heal. It's a game they're playing. Stop asking them what's wrong. If you've asked them once or twice, that's enough. Don't ask them again. Who's checking your emotions? Who's asking you what's wrong?
wrong? After that hard day at work, after your boss has been threatening to fire you, after your boss has been manipulating your hours, he didn't give you overtime pay, and he didn't approve of your time off. Now you have to come home and deal with another individual.
Yes, that happened with my mother a couple of months ago. She had been picking fights, and I put her in check. I put her in check real fast. I checked her. I just let myself be myself. I raised my voice without yelling at her. I used my deep like this. Put her in check. People will lie to the dying, the very last dying breath. They will lie. Most people lie. The vast majority of people on this planet lie. So when they meet someone like me, or perhaps on a rare occasion like you, I don't know, they are shocked because they don't know what to do with someone who is so dead on, being honest, being pure, who seeks to stay on his or her purpose, to ascend. They don't know what to do because they're too busy picking sides instead of seeing the story as it is, the truth as it is. Truth is not in the eye of the beholder. It only seems like that. One side of the story could be told, can be told, and that could and that should encompass both sides if the teller of the story is truthful, if the teller of the story is bright, whose soul is bright enough. It is the norm in source consciousness, a source beyond the universe.
Waiting to nag you, who need your constant attention. Because it's thing, married women, before they met you, before they settle down, they're used to getting a lot of different attention from different guys. Now that she's not really getting that, you're the only source of attention. So she's gonna pick fights with you. She's got a
Listen, it's not like just your wife who's in a big fight with you. It's going to be your mother, your brother, but more so the people who the people who are in your immediate vicinity. And I will explain in detail why they do that. Well, it should be clear. But you don't have to put up with none of that shit. Because it's all shit. It's all a game. You come home, you should always come home to peace. If you're not getting that, goodbye.
to nag you. She's gonna complain. She's gonna do a lot of different things because she's not getting that constant attention. Now, here's the thing: how you gotta get.
All right. I'm going to go into book 5 a little bit. People, okay. Why do some relationships work and some don't? It's actually quite simple. The reason why some relationships work is either because it's mainly because people are about the same level or they're not too far apart. Same level of frequency, dimension, awareness. So whatever darkness a person has inside, the other person has inside, they're acting from that level. So, for example, someone who eats meat, a couple who eats meat, they're not going to have any issues. Okay, for, in terms of their diet and other areas, because they're pretty much so. But basically, so if one of the couples, if one of the partners decides to raise his or her frequency, then the other partner is going to be fighting it because everybody has darkness inside. It's the darkness that's sending the signals for the fighting to continue. It's that simple. It's not complicated. Okay, a part of it is that person's soul not willing to change, but it's also the darkness inside influencing the person. So if you have a relationship where people are about the same level, then that relationship could work out for 50 years. But that might not be the optimal relationship because that relationship doesn't really offer room for growth. You need some level of pain in a relationship to grow because if one person is increasing or ascending, the other person sees that person is increasing or going higher, then that person either has to run or follow. There is no middle ground because 1 + 1 is always 1. A fractal plus a fractal, fractions plus fractions, part of something plus another part of something is always 1. Big tree is still quantifying things. Okay, I talked about 1 + 1 before. So basically, the way things are set up, you need some level of growth, and growth requires some level of pain, but it shouldn't last forever. When I picked my relationship, I picked it based on source recommendation. Yes, I'm having my issues, but goddamn, I'm glad of all the centuries, of all the millions of years. This is the point in time that I actually listen to source consciousness, my source consciousness, even though there have been some interesting times. I'll tell you this. Pure honesty, pure honesty is the way to go.
Give her that constant attention if you're always out working, if you're always out providing, if you're always out trying to build a life and give her a life that she couldn't give herself before she met you. Now you think you have a prize. You think that, man, my wife, she's the most amazing thing in the world. But before you met her, she was getting smashed and dashed by a whole bunch of guys. Different dudes bust on her face, bust on her chest, did all types of stuff. And now you got to foot the bill because she finally has found a simp. She's finally found a guy who's going to shoulder the load. See, they want you to think that men are getting such a fair shake when it comes to you getting married and settle down. No, the woman is actually getting the benefits because I can tell you this. Before you get married to her, before you propose, the best sex you're going to have is when you guys are not married. When you guys somewhat first get together and you guys are hanging out and nothing's.
The best sex I've ever had was not sex. It blew my mind. It didn't have anything to do with a girl. It didn't have anything to do with humans and non-humans. It had to do with peace. That was there were a couple of scenes. One was remembering who I was. I was attacked psychically using black magic, with black magic, and I was forced out of my body. And in that moment, when the whole of my soul exited the body, when I remembered who I was, and it was pure brilliance, not a single trace of darkness. It was a sexiness beyond physical sex that I had forgotten because of the schism of the universe, the duality of the universe. And there were other scenes, go into that later in book 5. But I'll tell you this. Physical sex is aspired to by men and women because they know no better. They think that is the ultimate pleasure. It isn't. Peace, to feel the utter calm of peace radiating throughout your head, from your crown chakra to your feet, and knowing no fear, no worries, things like that. Dude, you better work on your goal.
It's really official. She doesn't have these crazy expectations for you. That's when you are going to get the most amazing sex. You're going to get her all. And on top of that, she's going to be in shape. She's not going to be overweight. Because she's like, man, in order for me to get that ring, in order for me to get that security, I have to give him this crazy sex. I can't give him that starving sex. I can't give him that warm bland sex. I can't tell him to sleep on the couch, right?
Man, are things really that bad? You think, dude, Agbe Benny Pa's gonna sleep on a freaking couch? That's a freaking joke. Man. Please. What are you afraid of? What are people afraid of? What is this nonsense? I guess it really is that bad. Or is it for a lot of people? Shit. Hell. I told my mother, book 5. Let's not go into detail. Book 5. I think I'll conclude here. This is like a prelude to book 5, right? Basically, I'm working hard. Book 5 is mostly about relationships, marriage, and so forth. Love is more than sex. Love is more than roles: mother, son, father, daughter. Relationships are just relationships, whether they occurred a million years ago and it continued. Relationships are relationships. Love has to be willing to spill all the beans, because the only way you can get away from the clutches of the claw of darkness is to be pure brilliance, pure truthfulness, even if it hurts. As Valentina said in Mexico, even if it hurts. I should have paid attention. Relationships should give you something. They don't have to last forever. But look at it from a grander perspective. You get into relationship for growth. It's not for happiness. Though happiness can be found in relationship. But happiness must be found within you first. Because love for yourself is always enough. We've been told lies, Hollywood lies, Disney lies. It's time to undo the programming. So, your ultimate goal is to leave the universe, leave the matrix. There are ways to get around all these nonsense designed by the system. There are ways, even if when you find yourself in a difficult situation, there are ways around these things. People, good luck on your journey back to source consciousness. Did I stop recording?